So there is this paradox in the relationship world that just because you want and crave connection doesn't always mean that you are emotionally available. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I already have an example, but I'll tell you later.
Okay. All right. When I found that out, it did not make any sense to me. Let's find out why this happens though. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Muslim Marriage Podcast, where we show you how to find and build a healthy marriage as a Muslim. I'm Zahra Hassan.
And I'm AJ, and we've been married for 4 years.
And let's get started.
Let's get started.
So this week's episode is entitled, Am I Emotionally Unavailable? All right, so just very simple title. Did you want to tell me about your anecdote now, or?
That was an example of
Emotional unavailability.
craving what was the word you said? Yes, connection.
Yes.
There we go. And being okay. So picture yourself, if you will, in the closet of the person who you have an emotional craving for.
Okay.
You're craving the emotional connection. You want to just hop out of the closet and be like, hey, it's me, the person that you love, right?
Okay. It's super alarming.
Yes, it is very alarming because that person doesn't know that you love them.
At all.
They don't know that they love you yet.
First, how do you know where I live?
Hello, that part's easy.
Okay.
It's getting into the closet that's hard. All right.
And then what happened?
Well, that's it. You can't step out of the closet, because you're gonna get the police called on you. So you're craving emotional connection, but you're emotionally unavailable.
Okay, so on that lovely we'll call it a preamble, let's get to this week's question. So this is coming from the Muslim Marriage subreddit, and this is written by a young lady. She says, without going into details, my life and background have been filled with a couple of pretty unique and intense experiences which resulted in my parents passing away and a whole lot of emotional turmoil for a good chunk of the last 7 years. I was really close to my mom, Allah yarhamha, and because of the nature of my parents' relationship, I had never been compelled to get married or even think about marriage while my mom was still alive. But after she passed away, almost immediately, I started to want to be with someone a lot because my mom had given me a level of concern, priority, and closeness, i.e. an emotional bond, that was unparalleled, and I abruptly lost all those things when she passed away. Obviously, I knew that no one would ever be able to replace her. She's my mother. But I felt and still feel like a man would be the closest thing to having those three things again, namely concern, priority, and closeness. I don't know what the point of this post is, but I'm wondering about people who have this kind of emotional baggage. I don't know if I even want to call it that, but I can surely say that my life and experience as a 25-year-old woman is not even remotely close to the typical experience of most other 25-year-old women. So for me, I know that I require someone who would know how to handle all of this, and someone who would know how to support me in specific ways. That like venting and talking things through with someone is very important to me. For the sake of positivity and remaining hopeful, are there any women out there who have felt it unlikely that they would find a man who would be what you require emotionally? And have you found that man? And did you lower your standards on this aspect for the sake of getting married? What are your thoughts?
That's so sad.
It really is. SubhanAllah.
I think that she has wishful thinking if she thinks that a man is going to provide even close to the same amount of connection as her mom. And I know she already indicated that. Yeah. She knew that was going to be the case. But I think she's still underestimating it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a different type of connection. Like, you know how moms and daughters will sometimes just be on the phone for hours. Even sisters and sisters, or even just women in general, like to be on the phone. Just talking and talking and talking and talking.
I can see the way you're looking at me. You're just aiming this at me.
Talking and talking and talking. No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
no,
of course not.
I'm aiming it at all women. Every single woman.
Okay.
Talking and talking.
All right, I get you.
So,
yeah.
The men, right? They're more like, I don't know, like it's like a sort of distant kind of love.
Oh, okay.
Where we will push love at you and be like, here, hold on to this for a couple hours.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then we'll come back later to make another love deposit. Right?
Okay.
And I don't think the two are compatible. I don't think they're interchangeable.
So you're saying that what she's looking for is very hard to find if it exists at all.
Yeah, like she probably would need to find female companionship or an aunt or something like that, you know?
Given that the title of this episode is Am I Emotionally Available or Unavailable? Do you think that she is available emotionally to that partner?
No, she's not. Like,
how come?
For her, she's in the grieving period, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, a woman's pregnant, okay? And for a couple of months, she's going to want crazy combinations of food.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes they crave peanut butter randomly, right? And you're like, what the heck is going on over here?
Yeah.
You know? And once the woman, her hormones like sort of even out, she's going to be like, why did I even think that was a good idea? This looks disgusting.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
So if a woman gets married in that emotional state, later on down the line, she might look at the man that she married and be like, bro, who are you? Get out of my house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's literally, I have had clients who have been in situations very close to that. Very similar to that. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the emotional availability section. So what is emotional availability? So there's like a dictionary definition that is fairly vague for a reason, because it's not a term that's 100% recognized and used in the literature based on what I've seen. But it is a term that is understood in the lexicon of counseling in general, therapy, coaching, etc. When we speak about when we speak about relationships. So in your understanding, would you be able to guess at what that definition would be of being emotionally available?
I sort of like have an intuitive understanding of it, but it is hard to put into words.
Okay.
Emotional availability in the sense of a relationship means that they're not going to shut you down or they're not going to shut you out. They're there to accept you with pretty much all of your needs or wants emotionally. Like they're accommodating and they're willing to reach out and like sort of nurture you instead of trying to just be locked in a room and only care for their emotional needs. Okay,
so that's a beautiful definition and very close to the dictionary, or in this case the AI definition, which is the dictionary definition. It says that emotional availability involves honesty, vulnerability, and the ability to form deep, trusting connections through open communication and active listening. I think that despite all of the words being there, this is still very vague. In my opinion, the way that I understand this construct and that I apply this construct in the coaching is that emotional availability is the willingness to connect for connection's sake. Which means
like a connect the dots game.
So, but the willingness to connect emotionally with somebody for the sake of the emotional connection without any other agendas.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who are looking for connection, but they're looking for connection for other reasons other than for the sake of the connection.
Yeah.
Or for the sake of connecting with the person, right? So when a person has these other agendas, it's possible for them to be looking for connection, but to still be emotionally unavailable because they're looking for other reasons, other agendas.
I know I actually brought up the connected dots game as a joke, but I think it's an apt example.
Of course.
Now that I thought about it, right? Because a person who's connecting for their own agenda, they're trying to get the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But a person who's connecting for connection's sake may just connect any random dot to each other and come out with nothing at all.
Yeah.
Just connections.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that works. That works. The analogy works. So if we apply that idea to this young lady here, she does a very good job of articulating what she's feeling, why she's feeling it, and what it is that she thinks will help. Right. First of all, my heart goes out to her and anybody who has been in that position of losing a loved one. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you, forgive your loved ones. I'll grant them the highest levels of Jannah, and grant you the reward of carrying this grief in this world. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. That's very hard. I can't even imagine it. But grief is one of the things that can make people emotionally unavailable, which is why I chose this example. But she does a very good job of explaining that it was this connection with her mother that she's now missing. And not just the connection, but very specific aspects of it, including concern, priority, closeness, right? So overall, I would say there's acceptedness, being prioritized and accepted by somebody. It's those aspects of the connection that she feels like can now be fulfilled in a romantic relationship with a man. So that, let's say she meets this man, right? Let's say she meets a man who's able to fulfill exactly this. And she gets into a talking stage, they get married, and then now she's married to this young man. What will this relationship be like? How will it go for them? Would you be willing to guess?
Poorly, I would think.
If you had to outline, so from her end, right?
Yeah.
So from her end, it'll be a relationship where she will be doing exactly what she said that she's looking to do, which is venting and talking things through, like talking her emotions through and venting. And because she's likely still in the grieving process, that's going to happen often.
Yeah.
So from her end, it will look like it's going great in the beginning and progressively less great, because he'll progressively fatigue. He'll he will progressively get more and more tired of having to take up of the emotional dumping, right? Of all of the person venting towards him all the time and having to take on all of this emotional trauma, carry some of it with her. And at some point, we're human beings, and that's going to get tiring, especially in the context of a brand new marriage. From his end, how will it feel from his end? So there's a very specific type of personality of gentlemen who would be open to this type of relationship. Actually, now thinking about it, there's probably two. One would be the very, very, very secure individual. When I speak about secure, I mean securely attached individual.
Yeah.
Even though that they would be more likely to shy away from a relationship requiring this much emotional trauma bonding. But potentially a very security attached individual. The other person who would be drawn to this type of relationship would be someone who's codependent. Who believes that love is something that's earned. And when they meet someone who gives an opportunity to earn their love, they feel like, okay, so this can work because they're going to give me chances where I can show them how much I care about them by fixing them, making their life better, proving to them that things are better with me. And then therefore they can love me, right? So that type of mindset, it exists in both men and women. So even within the context of that codependent relationship, even within that context, he might last a little bit longer than the securely attached individual, but he will also fatigue. And there's a part of the reason why this is fatiguing is because they'll start to understand that she married me to be a source of emotional healing rather than marrying me for me. So that when he has something to say, when he is going through something, do you think that she would be open to receiving the things that he's going through?
I don't think even calling it emotional healing, because they wouldn't see it that way. They would probably say, like, she married me for a source of emotional dumping so that she can remove the baggage off her side.
Yeah. Tomato.
Tomato.
Yeah, because this is why therapy is helpful. This is when you go to see a therapist, this is what you do. You do emotional dumping, but within a controlled environment with specific questions so that it's productive, right? It can be healing over time, which is why people do it. If it feels good, you feel terrible, and you talk it out with somebody. You just take all of the traumas and you just lay it at their feet. That process feels good.
Yeah, you just release.
Exactly. So that's it. It can be healing, right? You're right. Healing is the wrong word, but that's her intention. That's why I use that word. Okay. So let's say in the context of this marriage, he is going through a difficult time as well. Let's say there's something going on with his job. There's talk that AI might be taking over, and it does take over, and he is fired from his job. And so he's now going through this process of having to find another job in this impossible job market.
The NBA.
Yes, basically, we probably have a better chance of trying out for the NBA at this point.
Especially with AI starting to take over.
Yeah, until they make the robots.
Well, yeah, but like...
It's fine. We still got Kawhi Leonard.
No, we don't.
No, we don't?
Yeah, we don't.
Oh, I don't. It's been a minute.
We don't got Kawhi.
After Toronto won that NBA championship, I think he's
with the Cavaliers now.
After Toronto won the championship, honestly, I just checked right back out of basketball.
He left immediately after that.
So did I. There's no hesitation.
He's just like, all right, peace out.
Immediately. But now we got the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they're
doing really well
about baseball.
I know everything that I've learned in the last week or so.
Yeah, I know that they're a bird.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that let's say he lost his job, and he is now going through that process of trying to find a job in this impossible job market.
Yeah.
And that is extremely emotionally taxing for everyone who's going through it. And he's married, so he goes to his wife for support, emotional support, and says, like, this has been really hard and challenging, and just the rejection after rejection, and all of the scams, and I don't even know if they're reading my resume or my CV. And he's telling her about all of this. How do you think she's going to receive it as someone who is emotionally unavailable because she's grieving?
Oh, she's gonna be like, I'm going through my own troubles and my own stresses, and you're just adding on top of that. Can you not?
Yes. Or even if she does engage, more likely, and I'm not saying it's 100%, more likely it would be in a superficial manner.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it'll be in a way to, sometimes we have trouble making space for another person's pain. So what we do is we try to minimize their pain in order so that we don't have responsibility to take it on. So she'll do something like, she might say something like, everybody's going through that right now. It's, a lot of people are going through that right now. And you might get a job. It's so-and-so got a job last week. You'll get a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to try to reduce the anxiety on their end so she won't have to deal with it. So in one way or another, what I'm saying is that she won't be as available for him as he has been for her.
Yeah.
Because she is more closer to the spectrum of being emotionally unavailable due to the grieving process. And over time, he's going to start to understand that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel good to be used emotionally, just like it doesn't feel good to be used in any other capacity, whether it's spiritually, physically, financially. We tend to understand things better when we use the analogy of money. So it could be the equivalent of, let's say she married him for his money, and he didn't know that. But after a few months into the marriage, he starts to very quickly realize she's asking for his credit card a lot, or she's asking for his debit card a lot, whatever it is. And that his money is starting to go way down. He's like, I think this woman married me for my money. Yeah. And the thing is, when somebody married you for a specific reason, is there ever a point where they reach enough? They're like, that's enough.
The fringe cases, yes, but generally no.
Generally no. She's going to keep asking for more and more money, and he's going to get more and more tired and drained.
Yeah.
Until it gets to a point where he's like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Similarly, emotionally, you're going to keep asking for more and more of your emotional resources until he's going to get tired and drained and say it's not going to work out. Therefore, what my point is that just because we are looking for connection and we're wanting connection, it's important to understand why we want this connection and to make sure that we want the connection for the connection's sake, right? We want the connection as a vehicle to build a fulfilling marriage, but not just as a vehicle to heal our own wounds.
Yeah. Also, we would like to connect with you. So if you like our videos, please comment and subscribe. Ask your questions below or on our website. You may feature in one of our videos with your permission. Don't forget to go to our website, zaharahassancoaching.com.
I'm smiling ear to ear because it was so smooth. Tabarakallah. I forgot it. You got me. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Ain't that cool?
That was really good. Tabarakallah. But so make sure, because I know that when I was in the process of searching, and especially towards the beginning, just soon after my divorce, when I started looking for a spouse, I felt like I was ready. I felt like I was emotionally available. But now, knowing what I know, I was not emotionally available.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he delayed, or he redirected me away from a lot of people that now, knowing what I know, it would not have worked out well. Because I was looking for more help with the separation anxiety, with the feelings of rejection, with all of the terrible, horrible feelings that come with being divorced.
Yeah.
I was looking for a distraction, for an emotional band-aid away from that. As a relief away from those negative feelings, rather than an actual partner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So only after, alhamdulillah, like the timing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever you look back on your life, you understand why things happened the way that they did. And like, it was only after I got enough to a place where I felt like I had done a sufficient amount of the work, that I no longer needed the connection as to be as a resource for my healing, but rather a connection to be a vehicle in building a happy, healthy marriage. Because it was the partner and the marriage that I was looking for, rather than relief from the negative feelings, right?
Yeah.
So only after I got to that point, subhanAllah, I think it was very soon after that, I think within a couple months after that I met you. But before that, I had been looking for a long time. Right. So the timing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there as well. But it's important that we are honest with ourselves. Because of the second thing. I know this episode is joining on a little bit long, but there is a second aspect to this that it's important that we discuss. When you are in this position where you are looking for relief from negative feelings, right? When you're looking for a connection in order to take the positive aspects of that connection to be a source of relief from negative feelings, what that does is it makes you vulnerable. We spoke about the scenario in which she met a wonderful person who happened to be codependent, who would be able to help her out. But there are also manipulative people who can almost smell that this is the type of person you're looking for.
Ooh.
And know how to mimic that very well.
Yeah.
That's literally what love bombing is. It's mimicking that.
Yeah.
And can put you in a position where you feel powerfully reassured, powerfully soothed, more so than a normal person could do. And you might end up marrying that type of person. So being looking for a connection in order to soothe negative feelings makes you vulnerable to people who knows that that's what you're trying to do.
What benefit is it of those people to marry them?
They have their own reasons, multiple reasons, but the most dangerous of those reasons is there are people who are looking for someone to control.
Power.
Yeah, and brainwashing is a real thing, right?
Brainwashing.
Not just brainwashing on a national scale or societal scale, but brainwashing it on an individual scale in terms of marriage. It happens all of the time. There are people who follow this random playbook that's somehow genetically coded, because they're all following this playbook of love bomb, devalue, discard. Like they go through this specific cycle. They say these specific words that have many books have been written about, whole programs have been created, because they all do exactly the same things, right? So there are people who are looking for someone to control and follow this playbook in order to control them.
Yeah. I'm defended, by the way.
Offended or defended?
Defended.
Interesting.
I defend myself from that because every person that I talk to with my eyes closed.
Interesting.
Awkwardly enough, that leaves me open to attack.
So you think that the manipulation comes from somehow seeing them?
Yeah, it's some sort of like hypnosis.
Hypnosis?
Yeah.
The hypnosis comes from it is hypnotic. But the hypnosis comes from them being able to read your vulnerable points, calculate what are the sentences that you need to hear, and saying those sentences over and over again with frequency and intensity.
Yes.
That's what love bombing is.
Speechcraft 100.
Yes. So by having this giant open wound, looking for this specific type of person, because don't forget the end of her sentence. The end of her question is very important as well, where she said, for the sake of positivity and remaining hopeful, are there any women out there who have felt it unlikely that they would find a man who would be what you require emotionally? Have you found that man? And did you lower your standards on this aspect for the sake of getting married? Did you lower your standards? She's saying, did you compromise other things? Other things such as, we're not talking about financial things and regular status symbols. Did you ignore red flags? Did you excuse away red flags in order to be able to get this, to be able to have a source of this validation available to you? That's what she's saying, right? And that's what makes you vulnerable. Therefore, if you are ever finding yourself in a position where there are powerfully negative feelings that are difficult to deal with, and that either are leaving a void, making you feel numb, or that are doing the opposite and just are feeling overwhelming and taking over other aspects of your life because of how bad it feels to feel this way, the answer is not a relationship. It makes you vulnerable to choosing and finding the wrong relationships, number one. And number two, even if you were to find a good partner, that relationship is going to be unlikely to work out.
Not at all. Yeah.
Therefore, the answer is not a relationship. The answer is to go and find a professional who will help you to understand what these feelings are and to process them in a way that you can let them go. Right?
Yeah.
That you can reprogram them or let them go completely to bring you back to your baseline, authentic self of who you are.
Yeah.
Sans the feelings, right? So that's the answer.
Yeah.
I've been there. So many of my clients have been there. So many of the people you know have been there. You're not alone. This is a normal human experience. The way it's a normal human reaction to difficult circumstances. What she's described here is very hard to deal with, losing both parents, subhanAllah. That's very hard to deal with, right? Doesn't mean that she's weak. It means that she's human. However, the answer is not a relationship. The answer is a professional who can help you understand and process those things.
I think for those that can't afford or don't have access to therapy,
yes,
there are alternatives. Like, for example, you can pee in a jar.
Oh, no.
Right? Collect the urine and take it with you. Find someone who's not very strong at English.
Okay.
And put the jar somewhere and ask that person where the jar of pee is. Their response is, there, a pee. And there you go. Now
therapy.
You got homemade therapy.
Therapy?
You got therapy at home.
Was that worth it? Do you feel like this was worth it?
It was very worth it.
Was it worth it?
Yes, it was.
I'm glad you think
I've just blessed everyone with therapy.
Oh, God. Okay, so just let's shake off that image. Jazaa K'Allah Khayr for the image, but shake off the image. But therapy. I understand therapy is very hard to access in many different places. There are wonderful free resources online if you look around. If you're grieving, I'm sure there are so many different free support groups. I guarantee there are support groups for people who are grieving. If you speak to the people at your masjid, a lot of masjids, especially out in the United States, I'm sure they exist in the UK and different parts of the world. Speak to the imams. They have counseling services, right? Sometimes the imams have not counseling services through themselves, but they might have a counselor on site. Just look around in your community, become a little bit creative, and find a way to help you start to unpack the difficult feelings with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
That person is not me, because I am not a grief counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm a relationship coach. So after you have unpacked those feelings and get to a place where you feel like you're emotionally available and ready to find a spouse, then you come see me. Then I'll help you find that spouse, In Shaa Allah. So there are resources that we have available on my website for those who are looking for a spouse and are emotionally available. I have they on www.zarhassancoaching.com. in the link in the description below, I will leave a link for my compatibility guide, which is free to download.
Ooh.
That is a free booklet that tells you what are the things that you should be asking and how to ask those questions in order to assess compatibility in a real way. Also, if you'd like guidance on how to use the dating apps safely and successfully, you can always sign up for my live webinar entitled Dating App Strategies That Actually Work. That's also in the description. It happens only once a month now on the last Saturday of the month. And I only leave 8 spots open to make sure that there is a small enough group that we can still keep it interactive. So if that's what you're interested in, go ahead and save that spot while it's still available, In Shaa Allah. So I think that brings us to the end. Is there anything else that we're missing?
I think that's good. We did wonderful today.
We did. It was a team effort, except for that one therapy side quest.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's sometimes you just gotta forget.
You gotta go for it, right? You gotta go for it. I admire that. So if you have chosen to spend your time with us, we appreciate you. Jazaa K'Allah Khayr. If you have subscribed to our channel and you're one of the lovely 303 subscribers, we appreciate you very much. Jazaa K'Allah Khayr. And if you haven't, please consider subscribing. It really, really helps us out. I think that's everything. So Jazaa K'Allah Khayr. Have a wonderful week and Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.